Hi guys, welcome back to Footy with Wally. Today we'll be analysing Villa 2, Spurs 0 for the Premier League. And although Villa had the ball for the majority of the game, I don't think they could create as many chances as I imagined, because when you're watching a game, when I am watching a game, I usually think, or sometimes we perceive a game differently from what happens, really. And I thought Villa had something like 2.5 xg, because I don't see the numbers when I'm watching the game. I only see the numbers after, so you don't, let's say, it won't impact on my analysis. I like to do an empirical analysis and then the statistical. Anyway, I'm already waffling. Let's go analyze this. Villa had the ball for the majority of the game, 18 total shots, but only 2 big chances, because although Spurs was focusing on defending more than attacking, I really thought Villa was a bit desperate in finishing, because they were finishing from outside the area, or a lot of block. They were finished mostly outside the area, and they also had a lot of blocked shots, so they couldn't create actual big chances. Chances I would say, okay, that is like a 0.6, 0.5 xg, and you can see that this by the numbers, because 18 total shots and 1.6, 1.56 expected goals is not that high, to be honest. That said, in Spurs side, Kinski the only one that I have anything good to talk about. For Villa, like Aston played really well. For me, he was the man of the match. Even though statistically Konsa was the best on SofaScore rating, for example, I think, like, with my eyes, I thought Aston played an amazing game, and basically because he played with freedom, because Spurs wasn't doing anything, wasn't marking. You can see this by the number of tackles, like 9 tackles. How do you expect to win a football match if you don't have the ball and you're not trying to get the ball? Because it's not like 20 tackles, like 9 tackles in 90 minutes. It's too passive. And different from the other videos where I showed the like every Spurs player's score on SofaScore. In this video I didn't, because I didn't put here, because to be really honest guys, everyone had a horrible game. So Kinski was the only good. Like, other than that, you can imagine me complaining about them or analyzing them, saying they put poor performances, because that is true. That's what they did. Also, there's something that I want to show you guys, because in the last video I literally said Spurs have nightmares when they need to defend corners, and that's literally what happened again. And I'm gonna show you, because corners nightmare, structural problem regarding defending corners and set pieces in general. I said this in the last video, and like they conceded from a corner again. And just in case you haven't watched my last video, which is extremely probable, to be honest, a structural problem is, when I say structural, I mean that is a problem that happens regardless of who is playing. That's structural problem, because you can say, oh, this is a technical problem. The problem is the centre back, but then you change the centre back and it keeps happening. So it's a manager problem. But anyway, I just explained this in the last video, so I'm not going to repeat myself, because then it will get boring and repetitive. Let's go to the next one. And this one, not having the ball is a problem. You can see, but that's obvious. Football, you play with the ball, and it is not mostly true, because most of the time, in a player perspective, you don't have the ball. You have the ball on average like 2 to 3 minutes each game. So you need to be able to know what you're doing, why you're doing things, and how you're doing things when you don't have the ball. And Spurs lack this, because Spurs defended today in a mid block, but were too passive. And I showed you this with the numbers, because 9 tackles, guys. 9 tackles is too passive. They gave the ball to Villa, like Asensio, Magin. They were like, okay, no one is tackling us, no one is marking, so let's just play games, create chances. And yes, it could have been worse, to be honest. Like, the result could have been worse. But thankfully for Spurs, Villa is not the most attacking team. Like, they're not so good attacking. They're very concise in defending. They're very balanced, let's say, but not so attacking. And I put on the screen Spurs players' average position, because that was a mid block when I was watching the game. And that's why I say I always watch with my eyes first, and then see these statistics, to see what I couldn't see when I was watching a game, because sometimes our perception can deceive us. So it's important to look at the stats. And I was watching the game, and I was like, that is a low block, but then it wasn't. But the problem is with Tottenham, like I only remember games or matches where Tottenham played well if they were attacking, because I do not remember saying, oh, today was a very good game, Tottenham defended very, very well off the ball. That usually doesn't happen. What happened is Tottenham either have the ball for, let's say, 65-70% of the game, and then attack, score 3, score 4, concede 1, 2, or 3, I don't know, and win. Let's say best case scenario for Tottenham. So when they don't have the ball, they're like, what do? We only know how to attack. And then they just start conceding chances, conceding goals and stuff, giving freedom to the opposition. And also something worth noting is that Son and Matistel, they were like very close to each other on average. And in theory, Matistel was the center forward or the striker, and Son was the inside forward, let's say, playing in the left lateral or left side of the pitch. And that's why I don't like Matistel when he plays in this position, because sometimes he just go to the left and there's no one attacking. There's no one in the striker position, let's say. Also, I did not like you can see here, I didn't like Odebert 28 playing as a 10. By the way, I know this game is very hard to analyze, as I always say, because Spurs are not so interested in the Premier League anymore. They're just having a horrible season overall and saying, oh, let's only play seriously on the Premier League. Actually, as I said in the last video as well, I don't know if they're playing bad in the Premier League because they don't care, or if they don't care because they are playing horribly anyway. So, I don't know. But to be honest, there's not much to say about this game. Spurs basically gave the ball to Villa and waited for 90 minutes while being attacked non-stop. And this game is weird, particularly because I don't think Spurs will play. Actually, let me show you this because I separated this. Will Spurs be more pragmatic against United? I don't think they will. I don't think so, because Spurs, if I know this, Ange Postecoglou knows this. Spurs feel extremely uncomfortable not having the ball. So I think Ange will book something. By the way, I'm not saying he's an amazing manager, but like anyone can see this. Spurs horrible without the ball or off the ball. So I think he will try to attack as much as possible, press a lot, get the ball back as soon as possible, and keep attacking, keep creating chances. Because when Spurs are not with the ball, are not with momentum, they concede. They concede. Like, it's very improbable that Spurs won't concede in the final. So the only way to win is scoring more than your opponent. And by the way, the next video will be a match preview, and I'll be able to go more in depth, like analyze, because then in the match preview I'll be able to analyze Manchester United, what I think they will try to do and what Spurs will try to do. Obviously, in my mind, sometimes the game goes completely crazy. But that was it, guys. That was the video, because there's not much to talk about, actually. Like, Spurs are not so interested in the Premier League, so analyzing it's very hard. And if you need to comment or say something, give me feedback, just leave in the comments. Please be kind, as I always say. English is not even my language. I'm still learning. For me, it's easy to analyze than to say what I analyzed or present what I analyzed. So be kind and bye.